Good afternoon and welcome to Fleming's Forum. My name is Sean Fleming, the assistant principal at Nauset High School, and I'm here today with a variety of students and Mr. Brian White from the guidance department to discuss the college process and where we are today. And let's just get into it with some introductions, and then we'll go back to the topics going on. To my right, we'll start with Charlotte. Just say where you're from, your name, and they're all seniors, and what town you're from.
I'm Charlotte Zender, and I'm from Wellfleet.
I'm Josh Schofield. I'm from Brewster.
I'm Jack Auer. I'm from Chatham.
I'm Kaya Howard. I'm from Yarmouth.
I'm Michael Sanborn, and I'm from Yarmouth.
I'm Brian White, and I'm from Brewster.
Excellent, thank you. Here we are, pushing April. Acceptances are coming back from schools. They're already back. They're done now. We're in the height of scholarship season. April 1st, those are done. Correct me if I'm wrong, you guys. You guys know better than I do. The second,
yeah.
Thank you. Yep, the Monday. And we're all, the dust is going to settle now. But you've gone through a process, and that's what we're here to talk about, that process and where you, how you've weathered the storm is what this, I think that could be the episode right here. And then Mr. White will fill in the gaps on some of the stuff from the guidance department on what you guys go through upstairs in guidance. But let's go around the group, and if you know where you're going, you could say where you're going or where you're leaning towards. That would be good. Charlotte, where are you leaning, or
I think
or where'd you get accepted? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm trying to decide between Williams and Middlebury, and I think I'm leaning towards Middlebury.
Okay.
I'm going to Massachusetts Maritime Academy.
Excellent. Jack?
I think I'm going to Harvard University.
Excellent. You were accepted to Harvard? Yep.
Yes, this week I was.
Great.
On Tuesday night.
I am leaning towards Cornell.
I'm leaning towards the University of Pennsylvania.
I'd love to go back to school.
Me too. So as you can see, folks, we have some high flyers here. They're going to many great places, and the world is going to open up for you guys from your little stint at Nauset, and you're going to move on to some great colleges. The process of this whole thing. Give me, Michael. Give me your. How do you feel? I mean, because I know your story on your college process, because I know it, but everybody else doesn't.
So I know a lot of people were really interested in the early action and early decision schools, especially this year, because their acceptance rates are so much higher than most other colleges. So I actually applied early decision to the University of Pennsylvania, and I got deferred. So that actually really kind of rattled me. So I was like, I need to get all my applications out. So I ended up applying to 8 or 9 schools in total, and then I eventually heard back from the University of Pennsylvania positively. So
excellent. And I'm going to toot the class of 2018's horn a little bit. I'm a parent of a student in that class, and I remember when you guys were little kids, and when the 3rd grade MCAS came out, it was like the whole Nauset region was either 1, 2, 3. It was like the top in the state, and they're like, whoa, where are these kids are something special. And then as you guys grew and went into the middle school, and we've got some of the school choice kids involved, it seemed like it was more high flyers coming in. So it's like your class is very, very competitive. And then just look at and there's other kids. I can think of other kids going to Harvard. There's a lot more Ivy Leagues and top echelon schools that kids are going to. And it just, I don't know what's in the water in your class, but it's a good thing for your parents. And as a parent, I'm pretty pumped for you guys. And as a class advisor too, I chose that. I said that to Michael this morning. I did that on purpose. So scholarships, Josh. I'm going to go to you on this, and you can explain why. Walk us through how maybe difficult or how complicated that can be.
It can vary depending on what you're applying for. Some scholarships are really easy. They can be a page or half a page. Some can be like evil and be 7 pages long. The real trick there is just find as many scholarships as you can possibly apply to, and that's your best shot. And in the end, that'll make the whole process worth it for you, because that's doubling, tripling, quadrupling your chances at getting any amount of money you can.
You and your family put a little effort into it.
Yeah, we have, I think it was 70 scholarship applications gone out.
New record.
Yeah, I would just, Mr. White's going to go from the guidance. That's that's pretty.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Josh, you've set the bar extremely high. But like a lot of these kids, they apply, you finally apply to schools, you wait to hear back, and then you talk about scholarships in January or February when we bring it up there. But you're living your life as a senior and stuff like that, so you don't really get a chance to do them, and all of a sudden you have this mad rush, and now everyone's really anxious and tense, and it's like I have to get everything by April 1st, April 2nd, whatever it may be. Josh has been doing it for months, it seems.
Well, my mom was a big part of it,
right,
too.
of course, right. But yeah, you've done a tremendous job with it.
Yeah, when I see him running around with all the paperwork, I'm like, my head spins. But you got it done?
Yeah. Yep.
Completely, right? Are you guys all done?
No.
Okay, all right. You got a couple of days.
Yeah, I have a few days.
Yeah, no pressure.
I mean, I have them all done. I just have to print them out, but
Yeah.
and like organize it. But
And it
Yeah.
takes it takes a little bit of a you got to sit there and have a clear head. Okay, I got to have this, this, and this.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's something else. Let's go. Let's talk about how you choose. Because Jack, I'm going to use you just because it's easy. You got accepted. Like this week's been a whirlwind for you.
It has. Yes.
All right. Explain what you like a week ago today. What were you thinking?
Well, I had like 3 top schools. I had Northeastern, George Washington University in DC, and also Georgetown. And on Monday of this week, I got accepted to Georgetown, which I wasn't expecting, because their acceptance rate's really low. It was probably like the first school that wasn't really like an acceptance rate like something like Northeastern, where it was like in the 30s. This was like my first school that's like around 10-ish. So I got into there, and then I was like, well, I think I'm going to Georgetown in DC. And then on Tuesday, or no, maybe it was Wednesday night, I got into Harvard, and I wasn't expecting that either. It definitely, like, finances play a big role into it in picking your college, but I definitely think I'll be going to Harvard because I want to go into like government, and Harvard's just really known for also producing the most presidents, I guess. I don't know if I want to be president, but I think it's just like the perfect place to go.
Right. So that financial package, they always talk about that financial package.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody here, Mr. White is an expert on the FAFSA, which is the federal application for federal student aid. Everyone needs to fill one out, every parent, and I've done it, and I have, what you get is Mr. White.
The EFC, the Expected Family Contribution.
Yes. So for people at home, that is what the government is saying that you should be expected or capable of paying as a family. And that number is, I can argue, it's good or bad, but sometimes it's a little high and you're expected to pay it. But then, to bring that down, we've got merit and we've got scholarships.
Yes.
Okay. So that determines your financial piece, right, Mr. White? And then you have all those, like, for instance, you may get into one school that costs $60,000, and you get $10,000 in merit, and then $10,000 in scholarships, which Josh he worked pretty, so you get $10,000 in scholarships. So that brings it down to $40,000, and if your parents are your EFC,
if your EFC is in a specific area, you're going to have to pay that $40,000, and that's a big number to swallow. So I think that when you go through the college process, you guys did it, a year ago, kind of even more of that, planning on where you might want to go, where you want to look, and you're basing on schools that fit what you want in a school. The problem is that when you get to, when I was talking to Jack, and when Jack got into Northeastern, he got no money, and he had to pay $70,000. Well, that's just, we just don't have $70,000 lying around. So when you're picking schools, you need to have schools that they're all pricey, but you have to have a school or two that you can get into that you can kind of afford. Again, $25,000 is a lot. So if you went to a state school, you had to pay $25,000. That's a lot, but compared to say 40 or 50 a year, Because after 4 years, you times that out with whatever loans you have. You don't want to get out of college with $120,000 in loan. You don't want to have your parents say refinance their whole house and now they're, they're in debt because of something like that. So it's a real conversation that for kids, not you guys now, but sophomores and juniors going forward, that parents have to have with their kids, and kids have to be able to listen to it. Because every kid wants to have the bumper sticker. I know you wanted to go to Mass Maritime from the beginning, and it worked out great for you. But there are other kids out there that wanted to go to, pick a school, and they might have got deferred, and that was a hard thing for you to swallow, I'm sure, at that point. In the end, it worked out great for you, but there are those kids who get deferred and don't get in. So now it hurts, but now you got to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? And like you said, you picked yourself up and you applied to 8 or 9 schools. And if you didn't get into UPenn, you would have gone to another school that you would have been, done well at.
Right.
But it's a tough pill to swallow at that point, because I think a lot of kids are seeing everyone getting into these schools, and they're like, well, how come they got into school and I didn't get into school? And there's really no rhyme or reason. And I think Jack is the perfect example. Jack got into Harvard, and everyone thinks about Harvard like this. Do you mind if I tell them about the other piece, about American?
Oh yeah. So so last week I got waitlisted by American University in DC. So I applied to all 3 schools in DC: George Washington, Georgetown, and American. And I got waitlisted by American. So I was like, oh no, like there's my first school in DC that because I was really planning on going to DC, but so I didn't get into American, and I had not yet heard from George Washington and Georgetown. And then actually the night that I got into Harvard, I got waitlisted by NYU in New York. So, and that was before my Harvard decision came out. So I was like, oh no, like if I got waitlisted by NYU, probably not a good chance I'll get into Harvard. But it really is really unpredictable about what's going to happen, because even if you get waitlisted by, say, some place like American or NYU, where the acceptance rate, when I looked it up, was around like 25, 30, and Harvard this year was like 4.6. It's kind of insane to think that
Don't you want to go
can't
back?
really predict it.
Don't you want to go back to American and just say,
I will.
Jack out?
I will.
I thanks. I'm just going to be going to school in Cambridge. I think you might have heard of this school.
Yeah. So things always work out.
They
so.
do, and they're going to work out. I have no. Are you kidding me? And then Charlotte, you're valedictorian. Awesome, great job. Worked hard. You know that. But like the Bowdoin thing, you applied to Bowdoin.
Yeah.
Explain to the folks at home how Bowdoin must be. Are there like 3 kids at that school?
I think it is a very small school.
It is.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know anyone who's gotten into Bowdoin in recent
long time.
years.
Long time.
But it made my decisions easier, I think.
Yeah, but your numbers are incredible. There's no question that if you stepped foot on their campus, you'd be doing fine. And they didn't, for whatever reason, they didn't have a fit for Charlotte?
There's so many, we're in such a small community, but there's so many small communities like us with so many kids who are so talented. So it's hard to, take a step back and remember that.
Yeah.
But also, I've heard a lot of times, too, that you don't know, who they're looking for to fit into their class. So, I don't know. I think it worked out well.
I think you hit the nail right on the head there. Each one of those schools, I don't care where, it could be University of Iowa. It doesn't matter. Who knows that they aren't looking for, we need a field hockey player, and, and Josh, your numbers or your whole package is up here. But that field hockey player, they need a field hockey player. They don't,
Yep.
And they're there, and they take that field hockey. You go, wait a minute, I want to go there, and you're not their fit, But but Cornell, they need you. That's great,
Pretty excited.
Yeah. So what do you want to study there?
I want to study nutrition and I want to do a pre-med program. So.
Did you apply there early, or did you apply there regular?
I didn't. I actually applied regular.
You did.
So,
Did you apply to any places early?
I applied early action, but not early decision. I applied to BC, UVA, Northeastern, UMass Amherst, and UVM early. So, yeah.
So you held out and just when this one came in, there's my decision right there.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah. Talk about going forward now. Now what happens? You have to let them know by May 1st.
There's a pause by May 1st.
So you've decided. You've decided. You've decided. Yes?
Sort of.
Sort
I'm
of.
still waiting. Yeah.
Sort of. Charlotte's in
I
on
need
the
like
fence.
4 more months.
So, yeah, they're going to like that. Yeah, but you got decisions to make in the next couple of weeks then.
And they give you opportunities, like you were talking about going to that accepted student stay. So go give yourself another opportunity to see that school through the eyes of now, I might go here, I'm in here. So I have a chance to be one of these students. So, you know, go take advantage if they have those accepted student stays to go see it again, or just go back up on campus.
And you've been through this. That is a game changer, isn't it, that day? Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think...
You know what I mean? Either yes or no.
I think when you start this process, whenever you guys did, they were just names, and then you saw them on a computer screen, and then maybe you went and visited them, but it wasn't really real to you. Then the further along down the road you went, it became like, could I see myself here? And now you're at the point like, okay, I'm into this school. Is this, you know, I'm going to be a student. So it's a whole different perspective, the way you're looking at things as you've grown in the last few years doing this. Like I know for you, Schofield, you've said from the beginning, you've wanted to go to Mass Maritime.
Yeah.
And that was like, but not everyone is like that. It was great for you. You went and you went early and it all worked out well.
Yep.
But for the majority of kids, they don't do that. It takes time and a process to get through it. And you guys are going through that now.
What are you going to study there, John?
Marine engineering.
Marine. Jeepers. Yeah, totally cool. Charlotte, what do you want to study?
I want to study chemistry, but I'm keeping an open mind because, I don't know, I want to try a lot of different science courses.
Good, good. And your government?
Government, politics, maybe media studies too, communication, stuff like that.
You got, you know, the background. You won a couple of Emmys, NOSIT Emmys here. That's great. Nutrition.
I hope to study systems engineering with hopefully a minor in business. So
Wow, excellent. It's a great business school, right?
definitely.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Mr. White, what are you going to study?
Still thinking about that. I'm working on some things.
So, Mr. White, what's the next step, like, from the guidance department here for the juniors? Where are they at in this whole process? These guys, we know where these guys are at. Where are the juniors at in your...
I mean, if you guys went back a year ago now, I mean, we had met several times, stuff like that. But I think it's the earlier you do it. I mean, we're talking juniors. I think sophomores should do it. I think a freshman should go on campus to see it because, as we've seen this year, there are so many kids applying to schools. And the competition, and you talked about 4% at one school, 20%. Well, I know like they had BU the other day released, there was, their average SATs were 1460. And that was just, whoa, that's amazing what the SATs are. So the more you get on schools, the more you start thinking about it. Because as a sophomore, as a freshman, you're not thinking about that stuff. You're just living in the moment. Even in junior year at the beginning, it's not really kind of real. But as you get into junior year, now it's becoming more and more real. So to start that earlier, I think it allows you a chance to see more schools. I think it allows you a chance to kind of learn more about yourself, what you want as a student, and just the overall experience of having that, I think will lessen any stress that you may have. It's a stressful process at times, but I think the more opportunities you have to see schools, be involved in it, I think can lessen some of the stress for you and your parents. Because I know sometimes parents can get a little stressed out through this process. I'm just saying in general.
You know, yeah. Oh, no,
Yeah.
this process is not stressful at all.
Awkward part.
I like to do.
I've seen the stress firsthand. Yes, and but not from me, of course. Mr. White, talk about like we were talking when we grew up a couple of years ago. UMass Amherst was it was a decent school.
Sure.
It's a little different now.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more competitive.
It is. I mean, I think when we grew up, like 7 or 8 years ago, it was referred to as ZooMass, meaning it was a giant party school and stuff like that, and it had that reputation. So that's where your parents would remember that that being ZooMass. Now, UMass is turning into one of the finer universities in the country, whereby now kids to get in there, you're looking at a 3.8 GPA, maybe a 1280 or possibly a 1300 just to get into the school itself. But when parents come in, they remember ZooMass. So they come in with their child, hey, this will be a safety school. And I say, this is a reach school, quite honestly, because these are the numbers, and they're floored because that's not what they remember. So the perception is, I think, I mentioned for kids to get doing this freshman, sophomore year, I think parents, along with kids, because they're referring to something that happened 20 years ago, what schools were. Schools are way different now in terms of admissions. So if parents can get on board with kids as a freshman, as a sophomore, I think it educates them. So they're not just blindsided, like, oh, what do you mean I can't get in there? So I think it's a process. Like I said, the earlier the better.
And from a parent standpoint, start saving money for college is you you could start, Josh, maybe next year, start saving money for your kids' college. I mean, you really, I mean, you can't go early enough.
I'm saving money for my own college.
Yeah, I know. That was, but it's like I face, you know, all your parents are facing. It's like, oh, we'll come up with it.
Yeah.
Somehow we will, but it's expensive. And I poo-pooed it and laughed it off for many years. And you know, it's part of my stress, I guess, is what he's hinting at.
You still look good, but you're right. The stress is getting to you a little bit.
Yeah, but I drink the tea now. I love tea. So, yeah, you can't start early enough from a student or a parent, is what I think. And, you know, you guys did your homework, and I think us parents need to do our homework on this. But
I think someone like Josh, who's done all these scholarships, and you guys have all done them as well, there's also sort of like almost a myth, like, oh, I'll get all these scholarships. Well, you're not going to find out what scholarships you get till June. You have to
May
put
1st.
you have to put your deposit down at a school May 1st, $500. So you're already committing to a school. So I tell parents and kids, like, hey, don't count on those scholarships. We have a very generous community. There's a lot of scholarships out there, and you have to work at it, like you guys have done. But you're probably not going to get $30,000 in scholarship. You can get, there's a lot of money out there, but it won't be something like that. So when kids say, well, I'll just wait for my scholarship night, well, you can't do that because you don't want to put yourself in the hole and have to come up with $25,000, $30,000 because it's a disservice to you and it puts you sort of in a financial hole at 18, 19 years old that you're going to be fighting out of for a long time. So.
And most of you guys, I would assume, are going to go on to more schooling, and after you're going after those 4 years, grad school is going to.
And that's really expensive.
Yeah, they're not giving that away either. So it's you got a long road ahead of you, and you don't want to get behind early.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah. So all right. So going forward, we'll get off topic just a little bit. We're getting into the end of the year. Mm-hmm. You know, you're gonna prom, senior week, all that fun stuff. What are we thinking? Is it going to be easy? Are you going to put the books away? Or are you going to work hard to the end? I mean, senioritis. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, look at. I asked Mike. You know what? Spanish? Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is an example. That was what I'm leaning at. Can you come do my show today? Oh yeah, B3. What class do you have? Oh, Spanish. Oh, don't worry about it. I know you do well in there. But those are the things that are gonna, the weather's gonna get nicer. Your schools will keep track of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, so all right. I'm counting on you guys. I don't want to have to, chase you around campus, make sure you get to class and all that, right, Mr. White?
Without a doubt.
All right.
But it's amazing how fast it's gone. Like I remember when you came in for the tours, and I said, wow, 4 years ago. Now here we are. You got, 8-10 weeks left of school left. It's incredible how quick it goes.
Yeah, you're all done. What would you, here's a good one to kind of like finalize the show a little bit, getting down to the end. What would you guys say to like a freshman? The juniors and sophomores they kind of know what the deal is because but like freshmen, what would you say? This is what you guys should be really doing to when you're sitting here in April of your senior year. What would make it easier or better going through your 4 years? Don't take Mr. Craven's class? No, that's a definite. You love it.
I don't know. I could go either way on that one.
I love it.
Take the class, hide from the teacher, I guess.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Sometimes he's,
I mean, probably the best thing I think you can do is really try and rack up as much community service as possible. Mm-hmm. Because scholarships, again, they want to hear about community service. That's like in the top 3 things they want to hear about: work experience, community service, financial need. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And community service, if you can have a lot down there, I have done a good amount.
Yep.
But the more you can put down, definitely, the more they'll consider you.
Jack, you've got the play.
I would give a lot of advice.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think you have got the total. We always talk about the total. You've covered it all and explained that.
I mean, I would definitely start as early as you can. I wish I had toured colleges during my sophomore year of school. because in your junior year you're really busy with everything, especially test scores, which are a whole other thing. Because actually I got into Harvard, and Harvard's scores are insane, like when you look at the stats. But my scores weren't really anywhere near that. Like, I had a good score at a 31 in ACT, but when you look at the 50 percentile, it's not really in there. So, I mean, I would say that you want to focus on like the SAT and ACT, but I took it many, many times when I probably shouldn't have. And I think the thing that helped me a lot was getting involved with extracurriculars, like student council, hosting my own TV show, doing a podcast, and just doing things that you love and enjoy and that you can talk about in your college essays. So rather than maybe focusing more on how to do a math problem or a test, maybe perfect that essay about who you really are. And I think that really helps you out. And definitely start your essays early.
Essay, but your package is special. It is. It's great, and I mean, it's amazing. You know how well rounded you are. You know, and you went places.
Thank you.
What about over here? Any advice for the younger people?
I would say it's kind of an interesting one, but I think it's important to challenge yourself and to get involved, but it's also important to take care of yourself and live your life a little bit too. I think that sometimes we can all get a little carried away, and sometimes that can take a toll on you. So I would definitely challenge yourself, but not too much.
Find a balance.
Yeah, exactly.
And I would also say that you got to keep going with your schools. You got to make sure that you're staying on top of it and showing your interest to every single one of them. And like Kai said, you definitely should enjoy those first few years of high school and really get situated. But once you start getting into junior and senior year, you want to make sure that you're showing the colleges that you're interested in, you do want to go. And especially since I was deferred from Penn originally, I know that I sent so much information to them. I was like, I really want to go to your school. I'm devoted, and I will go there if you accept me. And it paid off in the end, so definitely show your interest.
What about you, Charlotte?
I really like yours, Kaya. I think it's important to like my main thing is get a lot of sleep, because the more present you can be in class, I think that's more important than maybe getting everything perfectly done and staying up all night. And also like get involved, because I think the more you enjoy being at Nauset, then the better you'll do here.
Excellent. Well, you guys did a great job on the show. As usual, they carry the show.
Fantastic.
Thank you for answering all the questions, giving all your information, because what you guys have just gone through is a pretty big task. And now you get to relax a little bit and then go on your merry way. But Mr. White and I will be here carrying on.
We'll still be here.
Yep. We have to try to fill
We'll be here.
a half hour with Jack Hour, but we're working on that. We got some.
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
You do.
We already mentioned one option. We'll get that thing.
Another hour.
Yeah. I mean, it helps me with my Emmys. I don't have to compete against him anymore. But, all right. So until next week or next time, it's another Fleming's Forum. Have a great Easter, and